Ever feel like you're spending money on marketing, but the phone just isn't ringing like it should be? Well, today, we're going to tackle a question that could be costing your business thousands. Are paid directories a smart move, or are they just a waste of your hard-earned cash?
All right, let's dive right in by talking about something I bet many of you have seen before. It's a common and honestly an incredibly frustrating problem. You've built a great local business. You do fantastic work. But sometimes that flow of new customers, it just feels slow, unpredictable. You know you need to get your name out there, but it's tough to know where to even start.
And then something like this shows up in the mail. It's got your business name on it, it's stamped urgent, and it looks for all the world like an official bill you have to pay or else your website's going to disappear.
But here is the catch, and this is a big one. This is not your domain registration bill. Nope. It's a cleverly disguised ad designed to trick you into paying for a listing in some online directory that offers little to no real value for your business.
So does that mean all online directories are just scams? Absolutely not. But to make smart decisions with your money, you really need to understand that there's a huge difference between the two main types out there. I think it's helpful to think of it like this. On one side, you've got what we'll call helpful guides, and on the other, you have digital junk mail. They might both call themselves directories, but believe me, their purpose and their value are worlds apart.
So first up, the helpful guides. These are the good ones. They're legitimate platforms, and they're often super specific to your industry. Like a trusted site just for contractors or just for lawyers. They're all about real customer reviews, they actually verify the businesses they list, and most importantly, they attract customers who are ready to hire someone right now.
And then you've got the digital junk mail. Yeah, these are the ones sending those fake invoices. The sites are usually a mess. They're filled with unverified businesses, and they don't generate any real leads. Their only goal really is to get that listing fee from you. And what's worse, they can actually hurt your reputation with Google.
Okay, so knowing that, when does it actually make sense to pay for a spot in one of those good ones, one of those helpful guide directories?
Well, the whole thing kind of boils down to this one number, 4.6%. So what does that even mean?
This is where it gets really interesting. Just look at how different types of website traffic turn into actual customers. You can see traffic from social media or even just a general Google search. The conversion rates are pretty low. But traffic from a premium directory, it converts at nearly double the rate of a general search. That is a huge difference.
So why is that? Why the big jump? Well, it's all about intent. Someone scrolling through Facebook is probably just killing time. But a person who goes to a specialized directory for, say, plumbers, they've already decided they need a plumber. They're not just browsing anymore. They are actively trying to choose who to hire. That is a hot lead.
But you've got to be careful here. Choosing the wrong directory doesn't just waste your marketing dollars, it can actually do real harm to your online reputation. So here are the major red flags to watch for. The biggest one? Anyone who guarantees you a #1 ranking on Google. Nobody can promise that. Also, be really wary of sites that are poorly designed or if their main sales pitch is all about getting you a backlink instead of, getting you in front of actual customers.
And here's why that's so risky. Google is super clear about this. Paying for a link just to try and boost your search rankings is a direct violation of their rules. If you get caught, you could face penalties that make it much, much harder for customers to find you online. Okay, so with all this information floating around, how can you look at a directory opportunity and confidently decide if it's a good investment for your business?
It really just comes down to asking 4 simple questions. First, are my ideal customers, the people I actually want to work with, using this site? Second, does the website itself look professional and trustworthy? Third, is there any way for me to track the results, like calls or clicks? And finally, the bottom line. Does the price make sense for the business it could bring in?
But before you even think about paying a single dollar for any directory listing, there is one foundational step that every single local business absolutely must take first.
This is so critical to remember. Paid directories are a supplement. They're like the booster rockets, but they are not the launch pad itself. Your online presence needs a solid foundation to build everything else on.
And that foundation, it's built on the essential listings that are completely free. I'm talking about your Google business profile, Apple Maps, Bing, things like that. Claiming and optimizing these profiles is non-negotiable because this is where the huge majority of your customers are already looking for you. So when that next official-looking invoice shows up in your mailbox, what's the one thing you should remember that'll guide your decision?
Here's the key takeaway. Be selective. Your goal is to get in front of real, paying customers, not just to collect random links. Build your foundation on those powerful, free listings first. Only then should you even consider paying for a spot in a high-quality directory that can actually prove its value to your business.
For more clear, practical explainers just like this one, all designed to help your service business thrive, make sure you subscribe.
And if you want an expert to help you navigate all this stuff so you can get more phone calls and more booked jobs, Proper Marketers is an excellent resource to check out.